Go
there
Cowboys.
we go. Fuck the Cowboys, first of all.
Yeah. Facts.
Welcome to a very, 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 very earliest edition of Beyond the Pyro ever, and we'll be moving forward, in case anyone missed the announcement last week. We're going live at 11 Eastern, 10 Central, whatever the fuck your time zone is compared to that, I don't fucking know. Every Saturday, with the exception of next Saturday, because scheduling conflicts. We're back today, and there's a new face on the screen, and we'll get to that in a minute, but below me, right where he fucking belongs, is KPG. How's it going down there, bottom?
Doing good, bud. As you guys comment section, what's poppin', pimp? What's up, Thomas? Thomas Jordan, what's poppin', pimp?
Hi, Daddy.
That's your dad for real?
Yeah, man. That's my actual dad. That's my biological father. Totally checks out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. If you didn't watch the show last night, or Resident Hinge, I'll be moving to Saturday nights to Josh's old time slot, and I'll be interviewing a former ECW wrestler. So look out for that. And we also have in the works with Dan Bullier to replace Mop. Since Fridays are vacant, we're gonna be trying. Who the fuck is cutting grass outside? We're gonna be trying to do.
Thanks, Dad.
For Family Collective trivia on Fridays every week. We don't know, but I talk about that. So if anybody wants to do trivia Friday nights to replace the rest of Fans Hinge, hit us up on the Facebook, on the Twitter. So that's all I have to say.
Good luck with Kendall's trivia boards.
I'm not gonna be doing the trivia. I'll be doing the board, but not creating it.
Good.
Mike and Dan are gonna be creating the board. I'm just gonna be typing it in.
Good. My God, you ever run a good fucking game of trivia again? I'm gonna fucking kill myself.
You're the one that put fucking all in as a fucking AEW pay-per-view.
You the one that be putting 400-point questions at fucking 100 points, motherfucker. I don't want to hear it.
At least I didn't put all in as an AEW when AEW wasn't even fucking created.
Yeah, what the fuck ever? That's great. I digress. Yeah, anyway, bitch.
Oh.
What's up, Eli? Eli live in chat. Oh, and here we go with Dan Bullier.
Dan the
motherfucking man.
Dan the fucking man. Dan the man. Dan the man.
Dan, you got the link. You got the link. Hop in.
Jay's gonna be 30.
You don't know what these words mean? Well, guess what, motherfucker? Because we're about to teach you something today. Because we got Wrestling for Dummies for the first segment. As you can see, there is a new face here on Beyond the Pyro.
I'm the dummy.
This is the dummy. The dummy Bungie. This is actually a really close friend of mine. He's like a brother to me. And he knows nothing about wrestling. So for your entertainment, ladies and gentlemen,
have fun, Dan.
We're going to teach him some shit about wrestling today. So.
She's not losing. Shout out to my girl, Jay. She's not losing.
So, how this is going to work, I gave Braden a little bit of homework to do over this last week. I had him watch, in my opinion, the greatest WrestleMania match of all time. Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker at WrestleMania 25.
And of course, being the person that I am, I waited until the last possible minute to do it.
It's true. In fact, actually, about 12:30 last night, we both did a watch-along of this match. So, how we're going to do this is Braden is going to ask me and Kendall questions, and we are going to answer them to the best of our abilities without throwing him off. And I say that for Kendall because Kendall's kind of a bitch about this shit. So... Braden,
you know, my every answer is gonna be Jay Cargill, so why even bother?
So Braden, how what are some questions you got? What are some questions you got?
Well,
motherfucker.
Yeah. I mean, I am a dummy when it comes to this. So what the hell did I watch?
So this was a wrestling match.
Shout out to them, the fucking man. Have fun.
So, a majority of wrestling matches are competed under one-on-one rules, as was this match. Obviously, the match can end pinfall, submission, disqualification, count out. Those are the 4 ways a match can end. You win by pinning or submitting. You lose by getting disqualified or counted out. And obviously, getting pinned and tapping out, you lose too. But there are many rules in a wrestling match. But what you witnessed was, like I said, in my opinion, the greatest WrestleMania match of all time. And if anyone wants to dispute that, they're a fucking liar. Next.
I know you've mentioned that there's a lot of different matches. What made this one in particular your favorite and the one that made me want to watch it?
So, the thing is, in wrestling, there are a lot of stipulations that can be thrown at you. But there's something beautiful about a pure wrestling match. Just simple one-on-one contest. This match was not the main event of WrestleMania that year.
Really?
And this match was so good that no one remembers the actual main event. Like, people know what the match was, but a lot of people can't even tell you what the hell even happened during that main event. Like, because that was the match that stole that match stole the night.
That's actually a good question. What classifies as the greatest match in your opinion? I know you were talking about the pure one-on-one, but is there any other reasoning behind that? Or
So, in my opinion, what classifies this as the greatest match of all time is actually not the match itself, but the lead-in to the match. So, in wrestling, psychology and storylines are a huge part of the show. This match was between Undertaker, who at the time was undefeated at 17-0. Well, not 17-0, 16-0. He was 17-0 after this match. He was 16-0 going into WrestleMania. Shawn Michaels was known for being Mr. WrestleMania. The man always put on a great match at WrestleMania. So you had 2 of the biggest names associated with WrestleMania going against each other at a WrestleMania. And the lead up to it had so much emotional investment into the match that people only watched that WrestleMania for that match. There were people that only watched it because this match was happening.
okay.
Also, side note, Eli, fucking false, and we'll be talking about that later.
Greatest squash match ever. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I tried thinking of questions. I ain't gonna lie. I was more focused on trying to watch it instead of coming up with questions. Trying to learn about everything, and
that's kind of the thing. Watching wrestling is the main reason we're here.
Yeah, I kind of gathered that much.
Got any questions for me?
What input do you have on this match in particular that I watched, being it's the only one I've seen so far?
It was a very good match. Like he said, most people don't even remember the main event, which I do. It was Triple H versus Randy Orton for the WWE title, but I don't remember who won.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we know it was Triple H, Randy Orton, but like when you think back to that WrestleMania, like that was the main event, not what?
Yeah. So I thought it was very good. I was young at the time, so me watching that match was like, oh my god, that was the best match I've seen up to that point, and it's still in my top 5 matches. It's not number 1. I have at number 2. Since I've grown as a person, and as you see more matches, you're going to see matches that are on the same level as that match, but or in your opinion better than that match. And as you grow in more to watch wrestling, you'll see like from then to now, wrestling has changed. So that match was what, 15 years ago?
I think it was like 14 or 15, yeah.
13
Yeah.
years ago. It'll be 14
So-
next WrestleMania.
Yeah, so 14 years, and people are still talking about that's the greatest match ever. And Josh and Dan and Eli, everybody in the chat can say, like, wrestling has changed a lot, and people are still talking about that match as the greatest.
Now, you guys talked about it was a build up to this match. What and all was going on to lead to this point in it?
So, simply put, Undertaker and Shawn Michaels have been on and off again opponents for, decades, really, at this point. Because they started feuding back in 90? I want to say 95 is when the rivalry really picked up. I think they had a few interactions before then. So on and off, they were rivals for a long time, and Undertaker's actually responsible for Shawn losing 4 years of his career. During a casket match, he took a bad bump during Shawn took a bad bump during a casket match with Undertaker back in 97, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, 97.
And the way he landed on the casket actually blew his back out, basically. And because of that injury, Shawn could not wrestle, and he was gone for 4 years. From 98 to 2002, he was just gone. A lot of people thought he'd never wrestle again, but he made a comeback. And honestly, a lot of people will say, and even Dan, who grew up in like the golden and attitude eras, will agree that Shawn Michaels' run post 2002 far exceeds his run in the 90s. Shawn was a completely different person at that point. What led to this match? It's actually one of the most beautiful things. There wasn't any kind of real animosity there. There wasn't any kind of like deep-rooted story. It was just Undertaker was undefeated, and Mr. WrestleMania wanted to be the one that beat him. Like, that's what led into this one. The build-up to 26 was better. The match, I don't think, lived up to 25, but it was still pretty good.
Yeah, and I know he's probably going to ask, like, because you said golden attitude era. So probably later on, I'm going to have to explain to him, like, what's the difference between the golden attitude, ruthless aggression, PG. So at least we're going to have a question about that. But I ain't going to interrupt you, but go ahead.
No, you're good.
Hey, any information's helpful. Like I said, I'm learning.
So, the eras. There are eras that are referred to when it comes to the WWE. The first main era is technically the territory era, when there were a lot of wrestling territories that would actually end up sending talent to WWE. That was like way back in like the 70s. We really don't talk about that much.
Yeah.
Way
all
before
of them got bought out by WWE anyway. So
WWE literally bought up pretty much every wrestling promotion.
God damn.
Then the golden era.
The 80s and the early 90s? Or
that was golden era. That was when wrestling was at like peak just regular ass popularity.
Yeah.
That's when you had like your Hulk Hogan's, your Macho Man Randy Savages, your Ricky Steamboats. Hell, you're not a wrestling fan, but I know you've heard of Hulk fucking Hogan.
Oh yeah.
Hogan was known in the golden era.
I've heard names tossed around every once in a while. I just never really sat down and actually watched a match.
Andre the Giant. At WrestleMania 1, you had Muhammad Ali. You had what was it? Mr. T. You had all these
a lot of celebrities wrestling.
Yeah, I could tell.
WrestleMania 3, also in the golden era, is one of the most iconic moments in wrestling history, when Hulk Hogan slammed Andre the Giant, a 7-foot-something, 500-pound man.
I know a lot about Andre the Giant.
Oh, I know you do. Princess Bride.
Oh, hell yeah.
So that was golden era. Attitude era is where a lot of people really loved WWE and want them consistently to go back. Attitude era was exactly what the hell it sounds like. They stopped giving a shit.
I know you know The Rock.
Yeah.
So he was back then. And the interesting thing about The Rock is, as an active competitor, like a full time competitor, he only wrestled what 6-7 years
Yeah, his career was not long.
at all as a full time competitor. He only wrestled like 6-7 years as a full time competitor.
Dang, didn't know that.
Yeah, like legit
Yeah.
from like 96, 97 ish to
So
like
like
2004.
02, 03.
Yeah, like 2004 was like the last time he really appeared in WWE, like on a full time basis. He's made some sporadic appearances since, but like his career wasn't that long. He was known in the Attitude Era. Stone Cold Steve Austin, another big one. The guy
Yeah,
that would
I know that name.
give his boss the bird and hit him with a stunner. DX was formed, the ones that made the famous.
Yeah.
The Attitude Era, there were no fucks given at all.
Yeah, Mick Foley. You had who else? Big Show. You had the hardcore title. You had like Gangrel said it best. I think it was either Gangrel or Raven. I think it was Gangrel. In an interview with Chris Van Vliet. Attitude Era, every match, every segment, everything meant something. It's not like now where it's like these little bursts off. Like every segment, every match, everything meant something. And from the lower card to the main card, like everything meant something. You couldn't miss it. You had to have your eyes glued on the TV. And it wasn't just WWE, it was WCW. You had the NWO, you had everybody, you had all the top stars. So, what did this WWE?
That was also Attitude Era was also the home of the Monday Night Wars, which was when WWE and WCW were going head to head in ratings wars on Monday nights. As you can tell, WCW lost.
Yeah.
They are now owned by the WWE and don't exist. You know, WWE doing their thing. They buy everybody. After Attitude Era, we would lead into the Ruthless Aggression Era. The reason it's called this was really the big kickoff to the Ruthless Aggression Era was Kurt Angle coming out and laying out a challenge for anyone in the back to come out there and step up. And a young, trunk-wearing, flat-top cut John Cena would come out. And Kurt Angle would ask him, quote, what do you have? Maybe not quote. I don't remember exactly how he said. Basically, what do you have that makes you think you can step up to me? And John Cena simply said, ruthless aggression, and punched the shit out of him. That kicked off the Ruthless Aggression Era.
You had
After that,
like Batista, but you know him now as in the Marvel movies. You had Randy Orton, you had Rey Mysterio, Edge, SmackDown 6, basically. Kurt Angle, Chris Benoit, which I know everybody has different opinions on him.
Yeah, wrestling does not talk about Chris Benoit a lot, and I will be more than happy to fill you in about that if you're not aware. But I will do that off stream because I refuse to give Chris Benoit the light of day.
Good to know.
We all have a mutual agreement in the Four Family Collective. Chris Benoit is a wrestler, Hall of Famer, top 5 all time, top 10 all time, whatever. As a person, piece of shit. We all have that mutual agreement, and I'm pretty sure every other wrestling fan has that mutual agreement.
And if they don't, they're not a wrestling fan.
Yeah. As a wrestler, top 5 all time, not probably, but one of the best technical wrestlers, if not, in some people's eyes, the best technical wrestler. But as a piece of shit, he can burn in hell. But we'll explain that off stream because, like I said, we're not going to get into that on stream.
So after Ruthless Aggression, then we have the era that we are currently still kind of in, and the one that everybody fucking hates, the PG era. This is when WWE switched from the TV 14 rating to the TV PG rating, meaning they could no longer say words like bitch, shit,
Or
sporadic uses of ass. No more blood. There's no more blood in WWE. Yeah, PG really toned it down. That was when a lot of people were like, "Oh, what the fuck."
Yeah, I can tell.
Especially when you were like an Attitude Era junkie, and now it's like, oh yeah, all the things that made the Attitude Era fun. Nah, even Stone Cold, he had to switch from raising his middle fingers to just raising his fists. He couldn't flip them off anymore.
Dumb.
So,
and we went through that dreaded fucking, what was it, over a year of guest hosts.
oh my god, the guest man, the guest Raw GMs. Jesus Christ.
Then we had the anonymous GM to come to find out it was Hornswoggle years later.
You'll understand our gripes. You'll understand our gripes.
I figured I'd get it soon enough.
There have been moments where it's just like, what the fuck are they doing?
I'm like, I was like, what the fuck? To come out years later and say he was fucking Hornswoggle of all people. What the fuck?
But yeah, and then there's the wonderful sub era, which we call the Thunderdome era, which was during the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, fans weren't allowed in buildings. So WWE's solution for that was to put a bunch of monitors around the arena. And that's how people showed up.
Interesting.
They piped in crowd noise. And then when fans came back, we found out what everyone really thought about these wrestlers. Let me tell you, they had it all wrong. The people that in the Thunderdome were like, yeah! When fans were back, it was like, no, get out of here. We don't want to see you. Another thing you will notice about wrestling fans as you go is a lot of wrestling fans can be very fickle.
Yes. I've picked up on some of that.
You will.
And we also have a mutual agreement that WWE, even though it's still under the WWE brand, the main roster is for casual fans. NXT Black and Gold is for hardcore fans.
And NXT 2.0 is for literally nobody.
You want to explain that too?
So, NXT was originally designed as WWE's developmental brand. The whole purpose of this was to have new wrestlers coming in, learn the WWE way of doing things, and then eventually get moved up to the main roster. On NXT, they could actually explore. It actually originally started off as like a
game show.
Kind of
Yeah, they had
pros. It was so weird. It was the weirdest.
Yeah, that sounds weird.
The first season was great because it led into one of the biggest storylines of the PG era, the Nexus, which was then also immediately the worst storyline.
Yeah.
So, how this worked was in NXT, the original.
Exactly.
You had rookies paired up with a pro. So, like a new guy would be paired with a veteran wrestler. And they would compete each week. There were some matches, some competitions, whatever, like promo battles, obstacle course races, like shit like that. It was weird. And each week, one of the rookies would get eliminated. Until eventually, one person won season 1 of NXT.
And they got any championship match of their choice?
I think they did that the next year.
Okay.
I don't think they did that with season 1. So Wade Barrett is the one that won the first season of NXT. Well, fast forward like a week or two later, all of a sudden, not only did Wade Barrett show up,
well,
all the eliminated rookies showed up, beat the shit out of John Cena, choked Justin Roberts, one of the ring announcers, with his own tie, destroyed the ring, destroyed outside the ring, flipped an announce table, caused absolute chaos. And nobody knew what the hell was happening.
Got choked out, Justin Roberts got fired.
and then rehired a month later.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the greatest storylines. It was one of the greatest introductions of a group. Until 1 month later, when they had this big 7-on-7 tag match.
It wasn't a month later. It was like more like a year later.
No, bro, it was pretty quick. That happened pretty quick. It was not a year later.
It was like because Nexus debuted in what, 2010?
Yeah.
2009?
And then
that happened
like 2011, where they were doing the John Cena working for the Nexus angle. So like that had already happened.
Yeah, I think that happened. Yeah, it could have happened. Really.
It was SummerSlam. It was SummerSlam.
Yeah.
2010, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
It was 2010 or 2011. Either way, it was one of the greatest angles. And then they had a 7-on-7, which was a bunch of like main WWE guys versus Nexus. And the main WWE guys squashed Nexus. Like it wasn't even a good contest. It was just, oh, they're eliminated. They're eliminated. They're eliminated. They're eliminated.
At one point, Nexus had like 3 wrestlers to 1.
And John Cena just blazed through all of them.
Yeah.
Dang.
So immediately they squashed Nexus. So anyway, season 2, they did it again. They didn't do the Nexus faction this time. The winner did receive a championship match of their choosing. Then they did one more season. I think that was the women's exclusive season. Then they did one more season of Redemption. Eliminated rookies came back for another chance. And then they just gave up and just decided to make it its own show. That's when it gave birth to NXT, what we refer to now as Black and Gold. So,
thanks.
This, yeah, there you go. Thank you, Eli. Eli's our encyclopedia. So if we ever have,
I can see that. I've been reading.
This man is like a wizard when it comes to this shit. So when they created NXT as its own brand, the entire intent was to have the rookies, which were formerly from Florida Championship Wrestling, which was WWE's developmental territory back in the day. NXT would be a broadcasted actual developmental show. At first, it was on YouTube and shit. Well, under Triple H's lead, because Triple H was actually put in charge of NXT, NXT, Black and Gold, would become what many would refer to as the A show in WWE. Because for these rookies and developmental talents, they were putting on better matches than the main roster was. The time period from about I want to say late 2016, but mainly 2017 to about I'd say probably early 2020. NXT Black and Gold was fucking killing it. Absolutely killing it. It was insane how good they were doing. AEW happened. They put NXT on Wednesday nights going up against AEW. NXT did not stand up to AEW. They moved NXT. Then they rebranded it as NXT 2.0. Got rid of all the talents that made NXT Black and Gold good. And now it's kind of dog shit. So, if we ever tell you to watch some NXT, we mean Black and Gold. I would never subject you to 2.0.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm assuming you're going to show me the good shit.
Yes, I would never. Bring back takeovers.
The first match I would recommend you watching is Johnny Gargano versus Andrade. That's the first match I request you will watch.
Oh, yeah, we'll be giving you all kinds of matches.
I figured that.
Also, any of Gargano and Ciampa's matches from that entire trilogy. Any of those matches. It doesn't even fucking matter. Just one of those matches.
Just pick one and go with it.
Like, let's see. Okay. Backstage knowledge. There are some terms that you will hear us use, and there are terms that you will want to know. So, I already told you about faces and heels.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pro tag, antag, whatever. So, as far as an actual match goes, there is selling. Selling is the art of making your opponent look good.
Okay.
Shawn Michaels is a master of that. Dolph Ziggler is a master of that. Any big man ever is not a master of that. I'm sure Kendall can agree with me there. They are not the best at selling. Selling is when you take a move, you make it look more devastating than it actually is, because these moves are performed in a way that they're not intended to actually hurt you. It will hurt a little, but
So to give me an idea, similar to what the ref was doing,
yeah,
during 25.
And that's shitty selling, because refs are notoriously weak, but they're not that fucking weak. A good example of the selling would be when Shawn took that last ride during WrestleMania 25. He took it at a point that made it look like his head bounced off the mat, which made it look more devastating.
Mm-hmm.
When Undertaker whipped him into the corner and he like folded up the turnbuckle and like fell off, that's an example of selling. One of the best sells I can ever tell you about will always be it's because of the commitment, and AJ hurt himself doing it, but when Edge returned in the 2020 Royal Rumble, he gave AJ Styles a spear that literally turned in AJ Styles upside down. He dislocated his shoulder doing it, but AJ did it because Edge made his return. He'd been gone for 9 years.
Okay.
So, selling is simply put, the art of making your opponent look good. Along with selling comes botches. Botches is exactly how it sounds.
Yeah.
You fuck it up. Botches can be as simple as throwing a punch and it not even looking like it began to land, to Undertaker doing that dive on the cameraman and landing head fucking first onto the mat. That's not how that dive is supposed to go at all. He's not supposed to pile drive himself. And that it's literally because of that moment that the match didn't get 5 stars. It came close. That match got 4.75 stars from Dave Meltzer. Dave Meltzer's another name you will hear a lot, because that is the man that's notorious for rating matches. Mm-hmm. So if there's a 5-star match, it's because Dave Meltzer said it's a 5-star match.
And some botches end careers. More recently, Rich Holland ended Big E's career.
# fire Rich Holland. D'Lo and what was his name? Draws?
Yeah,
that was another one. Yeah, there's some botches that have legitimately ended careers. Owen Hart almost ended Stone Cold's career with a sit-out tombstone pile driver.
Damn.
Yeah.
Instead of dropping to his knees, he sat all the way out, and Stone Cold's head was too low, and he actually dropped him on his head. That's another thing. In WWE, normal pile drivers are banned. We have seen the resurgence of the Canadian Destroyer, which is a flip pile driver. So, but for the most part, pile drivers are banned in WWE. Yes, there are 7-star matches in Japan. In Japan, New Japan Pro Wrestling is the main company over there. They tear it up. I've seen wrestlers put on 5-star matches with a blow-up doll. I wish I was kidding you. I have seen it, though.
I'm not sure how to respond to that one. Not going to lie.
I will find a video and send it to you.
I'm terrified.
But don't get it mistaken, though. Wrestlers over there say it's very hard hitting. So they're very like stiff, hard hitting, and like you don't want to go if you're not used to it. You have to get used to it because like you're a wrestler because they're very hard hitting. Like they don't take no they don't take no bullshit. They take their art serious. And so in New Japan, they have different divisions. They have the open weight division. They have the junior heavyweight and heavyweight. Which junior heavyweight we'll get more in depth to a little bit. But they have different tournaments every year. They have the battle or best of the Super Juniors.
Battle was
Now, yeah, they have the World Tag League, and they have the two main ones, which is
Pride Fighting.
no two main ones are the New Japan Cup and the G1 Climax. Okada, which I'm pretty sure his name, won the G1 Climax 2 years in a row. Zack Sabre Jr. won the New Japan Cup, which Zack Sabre Jr. is the best thing wrestler right now. But going back to the junior heavyweight division, there's different versions of the junior heavyweight division. I know Japan's junior heavyweight division is 220 pounds and under. WWE's is 205 pounds and under.
Also known as cruiserweight.
Yeah, cruiserweight. The X division, they had weight limits at one point, but throughout their history, it's not about weight limits; it's about no limits. So they really didn't have a. They had like a weight division for like a year, and they just got rid of it. I think theirs were like 220 and under as well.
Yeah, that's another style of match I'm gonna have to introduce you to. Yeah. Ultimate X always went hard, especially. Oh, and Kendall, we also gotta show him the clip, the infamous clip from Impact.
Yeah,
the most wild shit you've ever seen in your life. You ever seen a man walk a tightrope and Hurricane Rana a man off of a 15-foot high cage? Because in Impact.
Can't say that I have seen that before.
It happened, so I will send you that as well. So yeah, I mean that was a lot of information. Kendall is our New Japan guy. New Japan and TNA are his niche. AEW is my niche.
I couldn't tell.
I could tell literally. I could tell you pretty much anything there is to tell you about AEW.
I'm the AEW hater.
He is the AEW hater, even though he simps for Jade, who is signed to AEW.
I love you, Jade. Give me a kiss.
So there is a lot to understand with wrestling, and I know we've overloaded you with information at this point, but it will all make sense at some point. Eventually. You'll put 2 and 2 together, and then multiply it by 5, and then divide it by 3, and then
I'll come out with 42.
And take the square root of 69, and carry the 1, and you end up with 42. So what I'm going to do, I already sent you a list of matches.
Send it to me through?
I sent it to you through Discord last night.
Did you send it?
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing it.
Yeah, it was followed by like
okay.
Of, like,
I see now.
So Kendall, I'm the homework I'm having him do. I gave him a series of one-on-one matches with stipulations.
Okay.
I am not gonna make him sit through an Iron Man match. I don't have that in me. I got no DQ, a ladder match, a tables match, a TLC match, a submission match, a last man standing, which I have to actually clip myself, a cage match, and a Hell in a Cell match. Which one should I have him do next?
Hell in a Cell.
All right, Braden. So what?
So the one that I've actually heard about before.
Yes, watch the Hell in a Cell match with Shane McMahon and Kevin Owens. The link is in Discord. So that's your next homework assignment. If you want, when I have some time, we can do another watch along because I will gladly watch that match again.
I was about to say, I'll probably put it off to the last minute like this time.
That sounds right. Not like we're not going to be talking on Fridays anyway. So
Yeah, I know. I was like this in school all the time. Wait till the last minute day.
on the
of,
bright
do
on the
everything.
bright side, you have at minimum 2 weeks to actually watch it because I'm not doing Beyond the Pyro next week.
I'm still gonna wait till last minute.
So
You know me. You know me very well.
oh, I know. That's why I was like, you want to do a watch along?
Yeah. Watch alongs are probably the best way to actually force me to watch it.
All right, so that concludes our first ever Wrestling for Dummies session. If you have anyone who wants to learn about wrestling, send them our way, and we'll do some lessons for them too. We don't give a shit.
I do have one request.
My only request is that they're 18 and over, because as you can tell, we are an 18 and over podcast.
One thing I am going to request is expand this horizon outside the WWE.
Yeah, and trust me, that is in the pipeline. The only reason I'm doing WWE matches is because it's much easier to get a full match through YouTube.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I can actually find full matches through WWE's YouTube page. So I'm using those as examples. Trust me, he will get branched out. As you can tell, I'm a much bigger fan of another company than I am WWE.
Yeah.
Where's the Willie? Next world champion, baby. Shout out to the fucking factory for getting that job done last night.
You know I keep that motherfucking thing on me. So, Braden, you will get to hear me and Kendall go back and forth on wrestling this week.
Okay.
This
I'm
is
down
always
for that.
entertaining. All right, Kendall. Monday night motherfucking bitch ass Raw this week. What you think?
I'll give it 3.5. Johnny Gargano returns. Fuck you, Tony Khan. I bet you thought you was gonna get fucking Johnny, didn't you, bitch?
Tony Khan is the owner of AEW, so when you hear him shit talk Tony Khan, he's shit talking AEW.
Fuck Boy Khan. Get about that too. He returned. Looks like they're gonna be setting up a feud between him and Theory. Finn and Dolph got some good time this week. Very solid match. That's my match of the week. Edge, Canadian Destroyer. Oh my fucking god. That was also a good match, him and Damian Priest. So no, I'll give it a 4. I'll give it a 4.
All right. I'm also giving it a 4, mainly because of one, the return of the Canadian Destroyer. Always love to see that move. And Johnny Gargano's return to WWE, which, even though I am such an AEW fan, Kendall, you may remember I did say when Johnny didn't re-sign with WWE, I didn't know if he'd be a good fit for AEW. And then once Triple H took over creative, I was like, I'd actually rather see Johnny back there and on the main roster and see what Triple H can do with him. So I'm happy he's back in WWE, honestly. Creative is the people that write the storylines. So when you hear us bitch about creative, that's what we're bitching about. All right, Kendall. NXT 2.0. 2 stars. I got nothing.
Yeah, 2 stars. I'm not excited for Memorial Squad, but I will be doing a prediction show next week just to fill time. So next week's show, he's not doing Beyond the Pyro, but I'm gonna be doing the first WrestleFans Unhinged on
Saturday nights.
So I'll be doing Clash of the Castle review, since I'm assuming Clash of the Castle is gonna be early in the morning. They haven't announced the time for it, which I don't know. But Clash of the Castle review and 2 prediction shows for All Out and One World Squad. But I'm not excited for it. 2 stars.
Yeah, 1 p.m. Eastern. That's when it's airing.
All right, so it's okay. So it's gonna happen. We will be doing a review. So or the
All right.
spoilers.
So I mean, NXT 2.0, 2 stars. The only reason I get that Legado del Fantasma actually all leaving. Dynamite this week. Man, I'm not gonna lie, I'm giving it 4 stars. I'm not a fan of a 3-minute squash match for the undisputed world title. I'm not a fan of that at all. That seems hella disrespectful to the title. I was not a fan. The main event was great. The trios match was fantastic. The Showstar all fought. All in all, it was a good show, but it's knocking it down a star for me just because that world title match was only 3 minutes long.
I'll give it 4.5. We're at 6-man match. For the 6-man match, I didn't like the. I agree with you. I didn't like the squash match at all. Me and Mike and Dan agreed on one thing though. If you were going to do the squash match, should have did it at the end of the show because you could have left on the cliffhanger and be like, "Oh my God, what the fuck happened?" And you could have had a cliffhanger, but you didn't. Kip Sabian, it's gonna be facing Pac finally. They're doing something with Kip Sabian. I know Dustin's gonna say, "Watch Dark, watch Dark, watch Dark."
Oh no, he's not even. He's hardly even been on Dark. Like this has been his gimmick. He just stands in the crowd with a box on his head.
Yeah, and they've been saying he's been doing that for over a year. I'm like, he's been doing that for over a year, and I thought you, and that's what I thought you were gonna say. Watch Dark, watch Dark. Well,
no, he hasn't even wrestled on Dark. Like he's just not been doing anything.
so all he's been doing is sitting with a box on his head.
But let me tell you, if you've been to an AEW event, that box on the head thing is over. Like legit, before the show even started, we just saw him walking around with the box on his head, and like people were like, "Yeah, Kip." Like it's over. I mean, at this point, it was like, is Kip Sabian ever going to take the box off his head? And just out of nowhere, this past Wednesday, he was like, "Boop," wrecked.
And it wasn't even him; it was somebody else.
It was somebody else. A Kip came from behind and smacked shit out. Like,
I'll give it Jade Cargill wasn't on, so I'm not giving you the 5 stars. Fuck boycott, but Jade wasn't on. Thunder Rosa being hurt. I'm gonna say it one more time. I don't like the interim shit at all. At fucking all. This is not
this one I really don't agree with because it's like when they did with the TNT title, it was like Cody was out with COVID. He'd be out for like a week or 2. When it was Punk, it was like, yeah, the foot might be healed in like a month or 2. Whatever. Rosa is dealing with a back injury. Like, she might be out for a while. Like, at that point, yes, vacate the title. Like, she might be gone till next year at this point. Like, vacate that shit. Like, I hate saying it, but I understand why they're doing interim titles because they want to make it more like how UFC does it, where if a champion is injured, rather than vacate that title, they create an interim champion. Then once the original champion is set to return, they have the interim champion and the main champion face off to determine the undisputed champion. And I agree with that. Unless there's going to be an extended period of time when they are off. Like, for example, Punk got hurt right before Forbidden Door, and he's back before the next pay-per-view. Like, that's one thing. Rosa might miss every pay-per-view until next year. Like, vacate that. When you're dealing with a back injury, you could be out for a while. Shawn Michaels lost 4 years of his career. Let's not forget this. He could still walk, but he couldn't wrestle. So,
that's it. 4.5 stars. Many reasons why it's because 6-man match, and like I said, they should have put the world title match at the end to end off on the cliffhanger.
yeah, the timing of it was really weird for me. Either put it at the beginning or put it at the end. Like,
Yeah.
why is it at the beginning of hour 2?
And me and Dan agreed on that. I said, put it at the. I was like, I ain't think about that. He said, put it at the end, and once Moxley beats Punk, fade to black, and like, I'll see you next week on Wednesday, and that would have been an awesome cliffhanger. Everybody would have been like, what the fuck? What the fuck? So placement. So 4.5. Jade wasn't on. So fuck you, Tony. Fuck my God.
All right, and then SmackDown this week. I mean, all in all, I think SmackDown was a pretty good show. Raw and SmackDown have really been up in the game lately. This show was just pretty solid for no other reason than the whole Bloodline, Sami Zayn, Drew McIntyre angles. I'm here for that. I can't wait for the eventual Sami Zayn turn and potentially Kevin Owens coming over to take them tag titles off the Usos. But Kendall, what do you think?
I watched the SmackDown clips this morning. Not in order, of course, but the first thing I watched was the Maximum Male Models spray paint somebody's bus, and when Hit Row came out of nowhere, it was like, this ain't our bus. I was like I said, I ain't watching, so I'm like, this is fucking the Bloodline's bus. Now I seen the Street Profits come out. I'm like, what the fuck? So, guessing now the Street Profits are on SmackDown. I'm guessing this was a one-off appearance. Bloodline story, like I said, I can't wait for Sammy to turn. Then, like you said, him and KO take the tag team titles. I'm assuming Clash of the Castle is going to be the last review Roman does, since he did sign that extension. To have like more dates taken off. Basically a Brock Lesnar contract, basically. That's to be a part-timer of this one.
In other words, it is time to take the titles off of Roman.
So I'm guessing they're going to be doing that at Clash of the Castle.
So what do you give SmackDown?
3.5.
I mean, I'm giving it 4. I mean, I've found SmackDown actually rather entertaining. Rampage. The best 1 hour of wrestling every week. It's the only 1 hour show of wrestling every week. Powerhouse was on.
And Jade.
And Jade was on. It's always a good thing when you see them too.
Yeah, 5 stars. Jade was on. So you know, my thing is with Rampage. Aubrey, why you didn't call for the DQ?
Thank you. I was actually going to bring that up. So, real quick, my score is 3.5 stars, and it is because of that moment.
Why didn't you call for the DQ?
Look, everyone that has ever watched this show knows I love AEW with all my heart. I've spent copious amounts of money on AEW merch, AEW shows.
You don't say.
It's a thing. I love AEW. But, Aubrey, darling, what the fuck? How are you have an active 6-man tag going? Someone come out, 2 of the participants in this match walk up to him, and he beats the shit out of both of them, and there's no DQ. That's interference. That is outside interference.
It wasn't like
of outside interference.
And it wasn't like he came out to no music. You heard his fucking music play.
And when it panned back to the ring, she was looking in that direction. Like, you know she had to see that. Like, she had to. House of Black should be advancing in the tournament final because they should have won by DQ. Like, this shouldn't even be a topic right now. Like, I saw that and I'm just like, man, my dial-up was just gone. I was just like, like, I was like, what? I would expect this from fucking Bryce Remsburg or fucking Rick Knox. I'd expect it from those 2 clowns. Aubrey, why? You're supposed to be the good one.
I'm like, you heard his music play. You're looking in that
And
direction.
it's not like subtle music. His music is fucking trumpets. Like it's like you know who he's coming at. You know he's there. Like, and Miro is no small dude. Like, this is a beefy boy. Like, he's not a small dude at all. Like, you know she had to see him wreck. You know she had to have seen Miro knock the shit out of Brody King. You know she had to see it. All right. So yeah, 3.5 for Rampage. That moment was just like, yo, what the fuck? Like, the powerhouse shit, loved it. The match between Claudio and Dustin Rhodes, fucking loved it. That, what the fuck? All right.
That was a what the fuck moment for me.
I'm assuming I'll get this passionate about it eventually.
Yeah.
Eventually.
I'll send you the clip, and I'll be like, all right, you tell me what went wrong here, all right?
Okay.
This is your first pop quiz. Watch this clip and tell me what went wrong.
Yes.
Yes, correct. All of it went wrong.
Didn't even have to watch the clip. I already know. Yes.
But I do say, I got a... Now since Dark Order, I don't know why, advanced into the fucking semis against the Trustbusters and... The Trustbusters. No, not Trustbusters. Fucking Best Friends.
Best Friends.
Yes,
there is a team called the Best Friends.
Whoever wins that match is gonna get beat by Aussie opener, the Bucks. So
First of all, you know damn well the Elite is going over Aussie Open. You know,
I said Aussie Open or the Elite.
But that's what I'm saying. You know, it's not even a question of who. You know damn well the Elite is going over Aussie Open.
But people also said the same thing about the Bucks. Oh, we all know the Bucks are going to win the AEW Tag Team titles.
It's true, but why the hell would they bring back Kenny Omega after almost a year to enter a tournament and not win it? Let's be real.
Like I said, people said the same thing about the Bucks and the
plus the Elite in all Elite wrestling should be the first trios champions. That makes sense.
Yeah, so they're so Dark Order or the Best Friends are going to get squashed.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like the Elite and Best Friends would actually kind of be a banger. I feel like it would be a very underrated banger.
You know what? Do you know what I think is going to happen? Is they're going to attack John Silver before the match, and Heyman's going to fucking replace.
I don't think it'll be John Silver. I think they'll attack Vance.
Yeah.
I think Vance will be out. I think it'll be Hangman, Silver, and Reynolds.
Yeah.
That would be poetic, actually. All right, so the ratings for this week in pro wrestling coming in dead last. No fucking surprised. We have NXT 2.0, the worst 2 hours of wrestling every week. Coming in at fourth, we have SmackDown at 7.5 stars. Still doing pretty good, though, because at number 3, we have Monday Night Raw at 8 stars. And coming in, tied for first place, so first and second respectively, but both really first, we have Dynamite and Rampage, both tied at 8.5 stars. I swear one of these days, WWE is going to take it back over. But it ain't happened yet. So, ladies and gentlemen, as I said at the beginning of the show, we will be back in 2 weeks. Next week, we will be taking a short 1 week break due to scheduling conflicts. But we will be back. Let me get y'all a date. If I can open a fucking calendar. New computers are hard. We will be back September 10th at 11 o'clock Eastern, 10 Central. Whatever the fuck your time zone is in relevance to that. But, as always, remember to take it easy and always enjoy